All right. So more craziness, absolute insanity going on globally. Iran's president and foreign minister killed in a helicopter crash. Wow. Apparently this was just an accident. That's what they're saying, at least. I don't think anybody would really say anything different at this point, right? Craziness.
Go live to Trey Yingst, who is following this story live from Israel. Trey.
John, good evening. We are following this breaking news out of the region. Around 10 hours ago, a helicopter that was carrying Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi and his foreign minister disappeared. There were 3 helicopters and a convoy. They were returning from a meeting in Azerbaijan with Raisi's counterpart when one of these helicopters reportedly crashed in a mountainous region of northern Iran. There have been search and rescue efforts underway since that took place. And Iranian leadership is basically making statements to the public saying they have no further information on the location of the helicopter crash. Now, there have been a number of statements circulating online from the local Red Cross and from other search and rescue officials in Iran, indicating they may have gotten a signal from one of the passengers of the aircraft, or they may have located the general region where the helicopter went down. None of that information is confirmed, though. The only thing we've been able to confirm is a statement from Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, who said, quote, "We hope and pray that God will return the president to the arms of the nation." Right now, there are 2 things on Iranian state media. One, they are showing images of this search and rescue operation in a mountainous region where there's a lot of fog and bad weather. And additionally, they are showing civilians across the country that are praying for Iranian leadership. A lot of questions tonight about how long this operation may take and what sort of efforts they will put into place to try and find the Iranian president. We do understand at this hour there is a Turkish drone over the northern part of Iran, surveilling the area, trying to gather any sort of information to help those rescue efforts on the ground. John?
What do you know about the weather forecast? Is it projected to lift, get a little better, Trey?
It is not. And some of the initial statements that we saw on Iranian state media from the rescuers who are operating in this area said that as they got to higher elevations, some of that rain was turning into fog and snow. And so that's a very challenging environment for these rescue teams to be operating in. Again, there's been a lot of mixed information floating around online and very limited details that we can actually confirm about the Iranian efforts to rescue or locate the president, Ibrahim Raisi, the foreign minister, and other top officials that were on this helicopter that was traveling from Azerbaijan to Iran when it reportedly crashed in the northern part of the country. John?
Reportedly, this was a Bell 212. Now, that's an American-built helicopter, but Iran has been under American sanctions since, 1979. It's hard to believe that they have the ability to conduct really good maintenance operations on their American-made equipment, Trey.
Absolutely. And a lot of the aircraft that the Iranian regime uses for their top officials comes from the Russians and is actually old Soviet gear that is being used by top officials in Iran. And so there will be many questions about why the Iranian president, Ibrahim Raisi, was on an aircraft that was out of date and not with the latest and greatest technology to communicate if there were any sort of emergency, or primarily to be able to locate such an aircraft. Right now, these rescue teams appear to be working blind in the mountainous region of northern Iran. They have no pings yet as to where this location is. And so they're trying to gather as much information as they can. Now, many allies of the Iranians have reached out to offer assistance. Like I said, there is a Turkish drone currently circling the area of northern Iran where officials believe that this helicopter went down. Additionally, our producer telling me at this hour that the Russians have offered a team to travel to Iran and try to assist with locating this aircraft. And again, this is still a search and rescue operation. We've not yet heard anything else from Iranian officials to indicate this has entered a new phase. But again, the weather, a key issue here. And some of that initial video from rescue teams on the ground indicates it's very foggy in this mountainous region where they do believe this helicopter went down.
Yeah,
John?
Very dense fog, obviously, in that footage you're sending back. And I certainly wouldn't want to be flying in it. Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv, Israel, keeping an eye on that story for us if you learn more.
We about to be in World War in a second. That's crazy. That's crazy. Um, I'm trying to see if there's anything, if anyone else has made a statement. Ron- I can't imagine that Biden made any type of statement. Let me see if he made a statement. Joe Biden, Iran. Iran. Oh, this is April 13th. Statement from President Joe Biden on Iran's attacks against the state of Israel. Earlier today, Iran and its proxies operated out of Yemen, Syria, and Iraq launched an unprecedented air attack against military facilities in Israel. I condemn these attacks in the strongest possible terms. At my direction to support the defense of Israel, the U.S. military moved aircraft and ballistic missile defense destroyers to the region over the course of the past week. Thanks to these deployments and extraordinary skill of our service members, we helped Israel take down nearly all of the incoming drones and missiles. I've spoken with Prime Minister Netanyahu to reaffirm America's ironclad commitment to the security of Israel. I told him that Israel demonstrated a remarkable capacity to defend against and defeat even unprecedented attacks, sending a clear message to its foes that they cannot effectively threaten the security of Israel. Tomorrow, I will convene my fellow G7 leaders to coordinate a united diplomatic response to Iran's brazen attack. My team will engage with their counterparts across the region, and we will stay close in touch with Israel's leaders. And while we have not seen attacks on our forces or facilities today, we remain vigilant to all top threats. Will not hesitate to take all necessary action to protect our people. I mean, so this was what, a couple months ago? January, February, March, April, May. Oh, last month. I'm not good with my months, apparently. I'm just trying to process all of what was happening here. It's very clear to me that we're on our way to a pretty massive war. And I don't think that's anything to necessarily be afraid of, because this is all what we are told is going to happen in the last days. We're going to see this type of turmoil. We're going to see nation turn against nation. We're going to see a war of this kind, specifically in this region as well. So it is sad ultimately, because, you know, the amount of people that are affected by it, it's sad from that standpoint, but this is what we're told to expect. This is what we're told that we are going to see in these last days. So yeah, man, I'll keep tabs on this story. Would love to know what y'all think about this in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. All right, I'm out.